Hello, my friends and fellow speakers. This is Brian, the speaker for the dead, and I'm very lucky today. I'm being joined by some more members of my family, just like the last time, because as I've told you, we're all huge fans of anime. So, and this is Spartan072. He's my son. He has his own live stream channel. Feel free to go there. He does a lot of gaming, just walkthroughs and reviews, and I mean, just gameplays and stuff. So yeah, he's into all that kind of stuff. Welcome, Adega. He's the only one talking in the chat right now, but yes. And this is Gummy Bears. You probably saw her from last week. We're changing her name every time. And this is Fluffy Bunny, my other daughter. So, but we are all huge fans of One Punch Man. It is so good. I mean,
so ready for this one.
It's one of the ones where I didn't like. I just thought this is such a stupid title. I'm like, I am not watching that. That is the dumbest title for anything I've ever heard in my life.
That's one of the greatest things with anime. It's just like, what kind of title?
Yeah.
This thing cannot be good.
Yeah, it's like,
holy crap! It's good.
This is awesome. But yeah,
like My Hero Academia.
Yeah,
it's like
same thing with that one.
Boring academia. Who wants to go to school?
Yeah, I don't want to go to school during my entertainment. But hello, Kamikaze D, welcome. Yeah, so it's just a very, very funny anime, and it is one that like it will surprise you because it's a very different take. And if you guys are having trouble hearing us, let us know because my microphone is not really set up for capturing groups of people.
No, we're really trying here.
So we're like yelling at the microphone to make sure you guys can actually hear us. So let me pull this down so we can actually. But yeah, it's kind of a different take on the hero genre, and that's what really makes it fun. Is that it's not the same old. It's the story of a guy who was just an average, ordinary guy who would, nothing super special about him. And then he kind of has a run-in with a bad guy, a villain. And he decides he's going to become a hero. So he starts like doing exercises and things and suddenly becomes the strongest hero ever. I mean, he could flick Superman out of the galaxy with like a little.
No! Don't do that. That's going to spark a debate.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, he couldn't. But yeah, no, it's just funny because he's so overpowered. He beats everybody with one punch, and that's why the name of the anime comes from.
And the funny thing is, like, he got so powerful that he's bored of his own power, and that's what like captures you. You're like,
he's just like every situation is just like. He's like excited for a second, and then it's just like he realizes he's gonna whoop their butt, and it's just like
he makes some of the dumbest facial expressions
ever.
They just kill me.
Goku is the best. I'm trying to remember which one's
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon
Ball in general.
Yeah,
he's the main character.
So, okay, yeah. See, and I need to get into Dragon Ball Z. I think I told this story before, but I met this kid that I work with, and he was decked out in Dragon Ball Z, hat, hair, shirt, everything, which I forgot to put my shirt on. I bought a shirt just for this stream because I love Saitama.
Pause the stream.
But yeah, pause the stream. I'll be back. I got a clothing change, wardrobe malfunction. But no, it was it was just so. Now I forgot what I was talking about.
I don't know.
Oh, the kid at work.
Oh, yeah.
So squirrel. So this kid had all this stuff on, and I'm a huge anime fan. So I'm just like, hey, I was like, are you a fan, or you just like bought the stuff for fun? He's like, no, I'm a huge fan. I watch everything. He's like, okay. I said, so where do I need to start? I says, I know there's a lot. And he's just like, well, how many years do you have? I'm like, what? He's like, there's years and years of material. Like it'll take you forever because there's Dragon Ball Z, Super Dragon Ball Z's, or he was telling me about all the different Dragon Ball Z's, and I'm just like, okay. So I'm just like, well, I guess I got to start somewhere. But I mean, and that's the fun thing is when you meet somebody who likes anime as much as we all do, you just end up kind of riffing with them and talking. Like I said, we'll stand out while we're doing dishes or cleaning up after a meal or something, And
Or
we'll
just
just
sitting
be
there.
going back and forth and driving my wife absolutely crazy because she doesn't like anime at all.
Every Sunday.
But yeah,
It's like an
so
annual thing.
I mean, it's our family thing. But yeah, so with One Punch Man, he ends up inspiring a guy to become his acolyte or his follower, or I mean, whatever you want to call it. And his name's Genos. For anybody who hasn't followed this, Genos is the other main character. And
He's a cyborg.
he's a cyborg, and his mission is to find the cyborg that destroyed his village, killed all of his family, killed his village, and that's his big mission. And he wants to get stronger and better and faster while he's doing this. And he comes across Saitama in the first episode, and it is like I said, this
Was it the
is
first? I'm pretty. It wasn't. Was
I
it
think
the
it was
first?
Yeah.
the second one.
because it was the mosquito.
No,
It's
that
the-
The
the
first
first one
one
where
was
he has
with
the
the
dream.
colossal guy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm getting my episodes mixed up, but so that's why I need
Pretty
these guys
soon.
to help me, keep everything
I
straight.
get stuff mixed up. I just refer to events. I don't
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
keep
Don't
episodes.
talk about episodes, Brian. You'll get confused.
Yeah.
But no. So, like, who? Let's start off with asking everybody just the basic question. If you want to answer this in chat, feel free. Who's your favorite character
Silver Fang.
in? Okay,
Saitama.
Saitama.
Oh, Genos.
Genos.
100.
She thinks he's hot.
Yeah.
So do most of the girls in that anime.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine Saitama. Because he's just fun. Like when the mosquito episode where he's trying to kill the mosquito, and like he's super strong, but he cannot kill this one mosquito. It is so funny. But yeah, I know. This is what it's like, I think, and the thing we're all just like, no, that wasn't that episode. That was this one, and you're talking about the wrong character. This is that character, and it's like most of the time I have to turn to him and go, "Who's the guy with the hair and the stuff?" And they'll be like, "Is it this guy?" And
How
So,
do
yeah.
I pronounce this one's name?
Yeah. or because it's what when you hear him in the anime and then you see him written down, like you're just like, I don't think that's the same. I don't think that's what you're talking. You get that Princess Bride. I don't think that word means what it thinks you or what you think it means. So anyway, but yeah, it is. Saitama is just a very like the comedy in this. The voicing work and stuff is so good. It is just so good. Very well timed, very well paced. It really, makes it fun to watch. And the fight sequences, the animation is just, it is really, really good and does justice to towards the end of the first season, there's a huge fight scene between Saitama and
The alien.
I can't remember his name.
I don't
He's got one big eye in his forehead and stuff, but and the fight scene
And
is
he just keeps getting his bigger, spikier
Yeah.
hair like Dragon Ball.
it is so funny. And at one point, Saitama gets punched to the moon, and he hits the moon, and he's just laying there, and he gets up, and he's like, and he plugs his nose, and he's like, boom, and he shoots back to the earth, and it is just
One thing I like about that is the lack of noise or how quiet the noise is.
Yeah.
'Cause in space, you can't really
yeah.
hear anything.
Yep.
'cause-
so it's
Yeah,
like
it
it's like
is.
they're paying attention to the details
Mhm.
of how this would actually be. But yeah, no, it is a lot of fun to watch this anime. Your kids, if you'll sit down and watch this with your kids, you'll have a lot of fun, and be able to talk about it afterwards and find characters and heroes. The villains in this are really fun, and they always seem to come in groups. And it's kind of funny because it's like, okay, what group are they going to think of next? Like, we're the underground subterraneans, and then there's like, we're the dinosaurs, and we're
Or
and
the sea.
so the sea
whatever's-
the sea king and the sea folk.
The
And there's-
Sky Lord.
Yeah, and
whatever.
it's just funny how they come up
Mhm.
with these groups that they're going to fight. But they're part. So what happens is originally Saitama and Genos are just kind of on their own, and Genos tells him about how you kind of sign up with this group of heroes. Is it the
So-
heroes? I think it's the Hero
Hero
Association.
Yeah.
And then you can get paid, and then you grow more
popular,
popular, and like
the ranks.
and then so and I don't know
Stronger you
why,
are.
but there's a thing in anime where S class is always the most powerful. I don't know why it's always S class, but it's that way in my.
It sounds the coolest.
Yeah, maybe
I think
that's
it's
what
also
it is.
that way in a lot of games.
Oh, and
as
maybe
well.
that's what, because
With,
like
ranking of
it's
gear.
that way in Rosario and a Vampire. S class is the highest rated monster. It's that way in this one. There's fairy tales. It always seems to be S class is the top one.
And maybe for super.
Oh, hail, Purple Valkyrie, welcome. But yeah, maybe that is for super. That makes sense actually. So it is really fun to see and to see the heroes, the different heroes. So if you guys had to pick somebody outside as your secondary pick for heroes, like who would you pick? Because there's a list here. We've got
Rider.
Oh.
Mooman Rider.
Yes.
So tell them about Mooman Rider. Who he is.
He's totally like an average human, and he's just like decked out in
He's the number
bike
one C
gear.
rank hero as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, so he has a bike and that's it. It's him
It's
and his
just a
bike
pedal
and his
bike.
gear.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he's got a pedal bike and like he's wearing a biker helmet and biker like pads and
Yeah.
goggles.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
he's the best, weakest hero. Like
Mhm.
he's just a good guy, and it is so funny because he'll go up against these villains that he knows that he can't win, but he'll still try, and he'll like throw his bike at them, and he's like, "Justice!"
like
so
Yeah.
like with
Justice
the-
bike throw.
And then you see
And
him
you
in
know
the
what he did?
hospital, and Saitama's like, "Hey, you good?" And he's like, "Yeah, Saitama, how are you?" Oh my gosh, he's just a good guy.
Okay,
Yeah.
so James?
My second favorite. I don't know.
maybe tell them about Silverfang first for those
Oh,
because
yeah.
Genos and Saitama are the main characters.
characters.
You see them all the time. Silverfang's pretty prevalent about halfway through the first season, but yeah,
Mhm.
for those who
So
might not know.
Silverfang is a old man, about 80, 70. He's old. And he's a martial artist with the water crushing fist
Yeah.
former technique or whatever.
Mhm.
And he's really strong, really good, and he's really calm about things and
Yeah.
how he approaches things.
Yeah, he's very down to earth and stuff. And he just kind of has that calming, that age presence, that what
And
you
that-
get as you get older and
The
So-
old wisdom that you kind of
Mhm.
get from that. And
He looks
Yeah.
like he's never worried. Like he goes into a fight and he's like, "Okay, like
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna win."
I've been here, I've done this, 1,000
Like,
times.
Oh, you didn't even hurt me.
Hey
Yeah.
Gage, welcome. Glad to see you.
let's see. What do we got here? King.
Okay.
I love King. He is so funny. And
That's second season stuff.
Yeah, that's
mostly second season stuff.
so let's say that
And some
for
of
a
the-
little bit later. But
Some
yeah.
of the theory videos that come out about this anime are pretty interesting.
Yeah. Silver Fang for me, my favorite part is toward the end battle of the first season. Like, because he's always got a shirt on, he's always got this stuff, and like his shirt gets ripped off, and he's this old guy, and you'd think real frail. No, he's got muscles defined everywhere. And the guy like smashes him into a rock, and he's just like, "Oh man, that's better. My back hasn't felt that good in years." It's just he's really,
And
just
this guy, everyone has been thinking that one hit, one kill.
Yeah.
Because the first person who attacks him loses his arm just by
Oh,
one
yeah.
hit.
Yeah.
So they've all had to be very, very careful and cautious. And then he gets hit, and it's like,
And he's like,
oh,
yeah, mhm.
no, not him. He can't die. And then he's just,
How
Yeah.
strong he is. He's like the third ranked in S class. So he's really powerful,
Mhm.
but like you
Mhm.
wouldn't suspect it.
Yeah, you wouldn't
Like,
know
no.
that that's what you're going to get with him.
You find out his rank and you're like, "Really? Is
Oh.
that right?
really?
Are they really that weak? Like an old man?" But no.
S class? Are you serious? So,
What about
and
you?
can you say, what about you for your secondary hero pick if you had?
Oh, Moomin Rider. He's just. I'm like, he's trying so hard. He's just like hilarious.
It's just like,
It's like,
oh.
Oh, and his fight with the Sea King, he gets trashed. I mean, he
Oh,
gets the
gosh.
crap kicked out of him. And the cool thing about Saitama is even though he's trying to become this more popular hero and stuff, he doesn't really take
Yeah.
credit for stuff. Like he actually makes himself look bad
to make the other
to make
Yes.
other
look
people look,
good.
because the crowd's like, well, if he beat him with one punch, how come these other guys were so late?
They
And he's
must
just
be
like,
so weak.
I must have just finished him off, or whatever. So I mean,
These
he
guys-
knows what he is and what he can do, but he's not in it to become an attention whore. He's just like,
He just wants to be a hero.
he
for
just wants to
fun.
be a hero for fun.
Oh
And
my
it,
gosh.
yeah,
That's
And
one of
that's
his
one
like
of the nice-
signature lines,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
he's a hero for fun.
he's a hero for fun.
You hear it so often.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean, it really is fun to watch these characters interact. So I can't remember who. I kind of like Tornado. Is my
Oh.
secondary pick.
Terrible tornado.
Yeah, Terrible Tornado. She's this short little teeny tiny girl, but like super powerful in kinetic
Psychic
kinetic powers. She can like reverse at one point you see all these missiles coming down to hit the planet. She just points her finger up, they turn around and go right back at the ship that fired them. And I mean,
And when she dropped the meteor.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say,
yeah.
did she like
Oh,
bring
yeah.
in
for the
Meteor
the
Town?
king of the
Yeah.
the
the
I can't, the reptiles or something like
One
that.
of them.
She wipes them out. She's just like, he's like, nothing can kill me except
Except
a
for-
meteor.
yeah.
She's like, well then.
That'll do.
And she just pulls a meteor out of the space to kill him. And so it is just really, and she's kind of a snotty
Yeah,
brat.
she's
Yes.
really all about herself.
Yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing here? And I like
Yep.
how the boys
Yeah.
pick on her, and
Yeah.
then she's like,
Yeah.
and then she
I
like,
like when she
kill-
and Saitama first meet. You just trying to get to meet all of the S rank heroes? You disgust me. Leave. Who's this sassy lost child?
Yes.
That is terrible tornado.
The one-liners in this are just so good because like Saitama's just there for fun. He doesn't care. He's not trying to impress
And
anybody.
he's so strong, he doesn't need to care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really is funny. But I mean, she's not my favorite because I like her. She's my favorite second favorite because she's just that annoying character that gets riffed on a lot. But she's powerful. So I mean, she kind of earns that.
she can back herself.
Yeah, she can
up.
back herself up, and that's why she's so confident. So what else? Like, is there anybody else in this that like pops out to you guys as
Speed of Sound Sonic.
Yes.
He is a villain.
Oh, yeah.
But he's my favorite. He's my favorite villain. Whenever he shows up, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna love
Oh.
this.
Yes.
so explain who he is?
He's this assassin, and he runs into Saitama on a job, and he tries to kill Saitama. And honest, it was so cool because like he has this knife or like his sword, and he goes to like swing it at him, and he turns around and he bites the blade and breaks it, and he's like, what happened? And then so from that moment on,
He's
no, we
determined.
don't.
That's the part that always makes me
Saitama.
laugh.
Yeah.
Like he won't stop, so he always comes back and he's like, "Okay, Saitama, I'm gonna beat you," and Saitama's like, blows him away.
Yeah, he always tries so hard,
And
and he's super fast. Very like against any other opponent, he would probably like decimate them. But because
Mhm.
Saitama's so powerful, my favorite part in that fight, and I'm sorry I gotta talk about it because it's just so
the
funny.
first one.
He's like zipping around and he's trying to, I'm gonna get you, and I'm so fast you can't see me. Saitama just holds his fist up like this and catches him right in the groin. And you see in every detail what happens when he hits him in the groin. Like you just see his fist, and that guy comes down, and you see his bits moving, and Saitama's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You flew right into my fist."
I didn't mean to hit you.
Yeah, I didn't
Just
mean
kind
to
of
hit you. And he's over there like, oh, he's standing off in the distance. And, that anime thing where they turn them white and they've got lines over their head. So funny. I mean, it's just, and welcome, MacGyver. Thanks for popping in. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions about this anime, let us know what it is. Anything that you're interested in that we're talking about, just throw it out in the chat and stuff, because we want you guys to be a part of what we're doing here. Because that's what makes it really fun, is when we're all kind of just like, well, what do you think about this or that? Or if you haven't seen it, let us know, because then we can talk a little bit more in detail about maybe some things that will help you understand what's happening.
The thing that I love about this anime, it's one of the ones that has made me laugh out loud, like dying of laughter out loud, and it's just so funny. But then there are those moments that you're like, oh, like you're a good guy.
Yeah, it really does the emotional thing very well. Like I said, you'll go from one extreme to the next and stuff, and like it's very much like My Hero Academia in that way, is that like the hero traits and the villain traits and stuff, they're very unique. They're not like run-of-the-mill superhero, supervillain kind of things. They're very odd, things that you wouldn't expect. Like
and
the
they're
Sea
very-
King.
Each one's different and
Yeah.
fights differently. And
The Sea King is very different. Like he comes out, like there's the sea folk, and I mean Saitama beats one of them and ends up like eating them because they're made out of like seafood. I
Oh,
can't
that's
remember.
Seaweed, and
Yeah.
she's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is what I'm
that's
gonna
a little
have for
bit
dinner.
later, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or
it's
is it
about
I thought it was
mid-season.
before.
About midway through, I thought. But yeah, he just like you watch this sea creature kick the crap out of two heroes that were sent to deal with it, and then Saitama's just walking home after being to the store
And he's
And
like,
then-
oh, I forgot seaweed.
I forgot
and then runs
seaweed.
into this monster
that's made out of it.
and beats him, and then you see him cooking it when you get home.
Yeah, it doesn't even show that fight. It just shows you cooking it,
And then
he's-
it shows the building.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's-
yeah.
Yeah.
with-
and
What?
Genos walks up and he's just like, "Hey, you know that stuff you're eating? It doesn't make hair grow." And he's like, "Oh!"
Everyone bashes
Yeah.
on him for being bald,
For
and he's
being
like,
bald.
I never said anything about me.
Because he's bald because he trained so hard.
his hair
His
fell
hair
out.
fell out and stuff. So I mean, when you actually get to see him go to the Hero Association and they test them, like they put him through a thing to show him, and everybody's laughing because he looks pretty small compared to some
He's
of these
like-
guys.
He's
Small,
really
but he's
muscular,
really
and
muscular.
but they're like, oh,
But it's
yeah,
like, oh.
he's a
And then he
joke.
starts doing the tests, and he's just wiping out like the punch machine. You see it like laying over in the corner in a big old ball of parts and stuff because when he punched it, he just wiped it out.
The jumping
And
test
the-
Yes.
flies into the
It's
ceiling.
just- stuck.
Sticking in the ceiling by his head, and his body's just dangling there. So it's just you get to really see who he is, kind of how he gets to where he is, but it leaves a lot of things vague until later parts of the season because like the introduction of it actually adds to the comedy. Like how because Genos is trying to figure out how he got so strong by being his acolyte. And they go to this one place called the House of Evolution in one of the episodes. And it is it is so funny because like Genos punches this building and completely destroys it.
No, he shoots a
Oh yeah,
bottom.
he shoots the ball of fire. That's right, and it incinerates this building. And then they go down into the basement, and they're going, and they have to fight this super bad villain that's the amalgamation of a bunch of different animals to create this supreme villain or race or whatever by this crazy scientist. And that's where you find out how Saitama got his powers. Because he actually tells them because the villain's like, "This isn't fair. How did you get so strong?" And he's just like, "All right, listen up, because I know you want to know this, Genos." And he starts telling, if you guys help me on this, but he's like, "I did 100 squats,
100
push-ups.
push-ups,
100 sit-ups
and
f- 5-kilometer run
every day.
for
And
3 years
years.
until your hair falls
Your
out.
hair falls out. Never turn the air conditioning on in the summer. Never
Never.
turn the heat on in the winter." It makes it sound really horrendous, and it's just like stops. Everything stops after he says this big diatribe, and Genos is just like, "That's a bunch of crap." He's like, "That isn't even
Like,
hard.
That's normal stuff.
That's normal strength training." And so, but he's like, "No, seriously."
That's what I did.
That's all I did.
And then this villain's like, oh, okay,
just goes kind
so
of
it came,
berserk.
Yeah.
yeah, goes
And-
berserk,
and
and,
so-
then he,
But then, I mean, to top it off, at the end of this fight, and I apologize, I'm not trying to ruin this for anybody. And trust me, when you watch it, you'll be like, they didn't do it justice. Like
No,
Brian's
you're not.
Brian's
doing good.
description is not nearly as good as what this actually is. But he's like, he gets upset because he thinks he's missed a sale at the grocery store more than what the villain had just said to him. and stuff. And so
Like,
it's
I'll be
I'll
kicking
be
you around for another week until it's like
next
it's
Saturday.
and he's like,
no.
No, he's just like, wait, if he's going to be going on a rampage until next week,
and it's
Or
Saturday.
Saturday. that means today is Saturday.
And,
And
this
that
whole
means
I
I'm here to
missed
stay.
it.
And this whole time he's being beaten up. Like
Yeah.
you
He's
think that he's being
thrown
flung around the
around.
room while he's freaking
Everything.
about missing the sale, and then he turns around and punches him.
So Adega, to
Yeah,
answer
it's
your
rough.
question, what streaming service is it on? It's on Hulu, I think, right now.
The first season.
The first
Oh.
season. I actually haven't got to see the whole second season yet because
Me neither.
it is really hard to find in English dub. You can find it in
If you don't mind sub,
Yeah,
there
if you-
is Crunchyroll.
yeah,
That's not
Crunchyroll,
one.
and I think even
Does
Net,
Funimation, have
Funimation
it?
probably
I thought
does.
Funimation
I
would
don't
have the
know.
second season.
I don't think Funimation's even got it on there. Last time I checked, they didn't even have it on there for some reason. But which is funny because they
I
did the
think
English
Netflix
voice.
has the first season. As
So
well.
yeah, there's several. To answer your
I
question,
don't-
Adega, I think it's on Hulu, and I think they might even have the second season on Hulu, but it's in subtitles. It's not in English.
Unless it's updated since.
Yeah,
then.
unless it's but I've seen like 3 episodes of the first or the second season, and it is every bit as good so far as what the first season was. Like I said, you'll get sucked into this and be able to just really enjoy it and have a lot of fun. So is there anything else that stands out to you guys about this particular anime that like has drawn you in maybe more than some of the others? Is it just the humor
Fan
and
service.
okay, so what do you mean by fan service?
In most
Tank top?
animes, no. In most animes, they show the girl and they're like, oh yeah, like you
really
know, put her
skimpy
in like
type
mhm.
clothes, really
But in
revealing.
this one, they're like dressing up the boys, like so you can see their muscles, and for girls, you're just like, okay.
Are you thinking like tank top?
Oh,
master?
oh my! I do declare. So, yeah.
Okay.
So we've got it does a lot of fan service. Gives you what you want out of a show. I mean, that's one good way of saying that is it just and it exceeds your expectations. You'll think and that you know that's and it does it in a good way. And it like what J.J. Abrams' big Ryan Johnson's big thing with subvert your expectations. That's
Oh.
that whole thing and stuff. You'll think you know what's going to happen, and then you don't. So you're just like, wait, I didn't see that coming. That was fun. Like in a one fight sequence, the one where Genos and Saitama meet for the first time. They're fighting this mosquito queen, and like. So, and Genos uses his fire blast to eliminate this huge swarm of mosquitoes.
He's down almost to where he's gonna die.
No,
And
this
then-
is before that part.
Oh, anyways.
Yeah.
This is when he first meets when Saitama's running after that mosquito. Get back here!
Oh yeah, and then he sets up the okay.
and then he
then,
sets them all on fire.
and
and
he's
then-
like, oh yeah, that dude, he was here just a second ago.
Saitama's
Man,
standing
really
there naked,
strong.
and
Because of all
like
the
you can't
fire,
see
yeah.
anything because it just burned his clothes off
And
from
there's trail of smoke leading
Yeah,
just in front.
going in front of his parts.
And
And then when the smoke clears, this sign goes.
And
It's
it's
over.
right in front,
Right
right,
in
at the
front
right
of him.
time. It's just like
Yeah, it's really clever. You're just like, oh no, we're about to see, and then you don't. So it's like, Purple Valkyrie asked, do you have a preference of sub or dub for anime?
Dub.
I don't care. I'll watch either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
Dub.
crazy.
yeah. James can.
I'll just watch it.
Spartan 07 too. He likes it either way. I really need the English translation. But I've watched it where they're doing English and then subtitles at the bottom, and I'm amazed at how different those two can be. Or like they're using, you can tell that they've used a word that they've changed the word that would have been in Japanese to make it a little easier to understand in English.
Yeah, if I've seen an anime dub, I usually don't watch sub and vice versa,
Mhm.
just because of how different they sound and from what I remember. So it really kind of throws me off, and Like, wait, that wasn't supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it kind of just depends on your preference.
If
And
you can
sometimes I don't
read
care.
while listening to a completely different language,
Read and
Then
watch and
Yeah.
then
good
listen
job,
to stuff.
because that is not me. I cannot multitask like that. I'm like, I need to go back, I need to pause it, I need to read, and then
Sometimes
can
I
watch.
have to do that because of how much is going on.
Yeah, I can't read and watch because I'll spend time reading, and while I'm reading, like something's happened on the screen, so I'd have to go back, and so I just English really does work. So Hale's in aside, welcome, and he's saying dub as well.
You'll need to play more video games.
I get that's the secret. But no,
That's my
it's
secret, Captain.
it really just kind of depends on whether you can do it or not. I've heard a lot of people, some people are really purist about it. Like, the English translation is so bad, it's so stupid. The Japanese character acting is so much better. And I'm just like,
Well, that's your.
I'm like, but how can you tell? I'm like, because like with a lot of languages, things switch back and forth. Like like in Spanish, you would say it like the book I got instead of I got the book, where you would say it in English that way, So it's like it kind of leaves you a little bit confused at sometimes. And it just depends on who's doing the translation, But Funimation seems to do a pretty good job. But I've heard that there's been some American English dubbing companies that are altering. They're altering the stories to make them more, I hate to use the woke. They're changing the wording to alter the story. But I haven't seen a whole lot of that. I don't know if that's happening a lot with of this. And usually, even if they did do that, what's happening on the screen, the action, would betray what they're doing. Because the Japanese culture is it's still a very conservative type culture. And a very kind of family values oriented and stuff from what I've seen. Now I have to actually talk about something here for a second, because I did one of my last live streams. I got called I got called what's a weeaboo. I don't know if you guys know what that is. I didn't. I had to go look it up. I got called that because of this poster right here on my wall. They said, "Who is this guy talking about anime with weeaboo posters in the background and stuff?" So weeaboo, I went and looked it up, and it means. And I just thought, can you not use real words?
Yeah. Like you had to make this.
You have to make up words.
complicated
Okay, but apparently this has been said by enough people that means something, and it means a Western person who thinks that Japanese culture is superior to Western culture. And I'm like, because I have a poster on my wall? Did you miss the Lord of the Rings, the Star Trek, the Avengers, the Star Wars, the
Literally all
Guardians of
of
the
them.
Galaxy? I'm like, I have
Pirates of the
one
Caribbean,
anime.
fancy.
So I mean, I've got more posters in here. I'm just like, how narrow-minded and silly do you have to be to latch onto one thing to crap on somebody? And it was silly.
I've heard of weeb, but I've never heard of weeaboo.
Yeah, that was, like I said, new one on me. But I just thought this guy's just looking to be a jerk anyway. So I'm not a weeaboo.
We're
Just
not
just
weeaboos.
just we're not weeaboos. I actually
Each one
like
has
Western
its own-
culture, but I like other cultures too.
Each one's got its own perks and fun
Yeah.
bits about it. And why
But
hate on one and love on one and hate on another? Just
Yeah.
take
can't we just
what
like
you
what's
like
good?
and dislike
And
what you dislike.
that's what's great about America. We're the melting pot. Everybody brought their cultures, and we picked the best stuff from everybody's culture and infused that into our culture.
Yeah, some
That's
of the
what-
worst stuff.
That's what made America what it is the fact that we did adopt other people's cultures and stuff where it was good stuff. If you believed in cutting off people's heads, we kind of frowned on that. But anyway, so back to One Punch Man. I can't recommend this one enough to you guys. It seriously, you will laugh. You will have a really good time watching it. And it seems like in the chat we're getting an overwhelming dub answer. For people in English, it's just easier. because I can't wait for My Hero Academia, the second movie, to come out. I'm waiting for it to come out with its English translation. Because the first movie was
I haven't seen
so
it.
good.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen the movies yet. I need to, but I have not seen those movies yet.
So for this next part, I'm going to kind of lean on my guests, my children, a little bit more, because some of them have seen the second season, and I have not. I've only seen parts of it. Now, so tell us about King, because we meet King in the second season.
you
This
see him in
made
the
me
first
mad.
one,
Yeah,
but you get very
Little information.
broad information about him.
He says like 2 words and,
Yeah.
he leaves. But he's taking all of Saitama's credit
Unknowingly.
Mhm.
unknowingly. Like he
And he-
becomes a good guy, but at first you're like, you do not
Like,
deserve
he's-
any of that.
Yeah.
But then Saitama's like, hey dude, like, you want to play some video games? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, let's be friends. And he's like, I should have like I took credit that should have been to you. And he's like, whatever. I don't
And here's
care.
the thing about King. He's about as strong as Moomin Rider.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's a regular
He's-
human.
the way he appears in the right spots and he looks intimidating. So he can usually intimidate or make
Scare
stronger
off.
opponents, scare off weaker opponents who would probably beat him easily. But then stronger opponents refer to him out of respect.
Yeah. So I mean, he has this
And there's
reputation as being
The
like
strongest
the strongest
hero.
hero,
Mhm.
because he's been accidentally taking credit for because he's always wherever Saitama is when whatever happens goes down. And it kind of goes back, because I have seen this part. It goes back and shows you some of the incidents that Saitama was involved in and how King mistakenly got given credit for it. And
Mhm.
And he just kind of took it. He wasn't ready or
he
like,
did, yeah, he
willing
didn't know
to
how
say-
not to. He was just like, I'm kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
And now he's definitely stuck. He can't just come out and be like, yeah, that wasn't me at all.
no one would believe him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly.
There's actually a theory video about King and his abilities. But
He's a scaredy cat.
yeah, he's a scaredy cat, but he's got like
Unless
this
Saitama's there, then he's
leadership
pretty
type
brave.
aura of King, where it kind of like how Saitama always appeared in where he was right there to protect King. So it was a very interesting video.
there's always
There's
those
always
fan videos that are just like, I'm gonna figure this out.
And there's also some about how Saitama got his powers actually.
I like his
They're
workout
really-
schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes it more funnier. Sometimes I think we as fans get a little too like, I'm gonna figure out every single detail about this until I know everything. And it's like, hey, how about no? Don't do that, because that's creepy. But yeah,
On a scale of 1 to 10,
How would you rank it?
10.
15.
12. I really want them to keep going.
Yeah.
And there's a new movie coming out, I think.
There's a movie for it now?
I hope so.
There's a movie.
I hope
but
there
The
is.
manga
I'm
have
excited.
kept going as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
So they should keep going with the anime.
Well, and the season 2 just came, like season 1 came out in 2015, season 2 came out 2019. So there's been some gap in between. So like, just because it doesn't happen right away doesn't mean it's not coming.
What's your rank?
Oh, 10.
10?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a high number rank for this family. Like I said, we all love it. One of my youngest daughters wanted to be in the stream, but she's a little too young. So I didn't want to include her in this. She's actually watching though, but she loves we all love this anime. So it's just very easy to fall in love with this and to want to bring other people into it, because that's what fandom is finding something you love
And sharing it
and
with
sharing
others.
it with other people. That's one of the reasons I do this channel and do the
Mhm.
live streams, because I want to talk about positive, cool things that I love and that make my life better, and that we can share as a family.
Like one of my friends, he does not like anime and that kind of stuff almost ever. He loves this series. He saw it and like, okay, I don't like anime, but I love this one.
This one's funny.
This one's good.
Like I said, it's kind of got it all. The
Yeah, it just
humor
makes-
will just blow your socks off. The
The deadpan.
the
face.
deadpan humor will just and it's intelligent humor. It's not like toilet humor, dumb humor. I mean, there's a little bit of that, but I mean, some of the things that Saitama does, there's this one part where there's this mole guy who's
Oh
like
my gosh.
pulled him under the ground, and he's sitting there and he beats up a couple of other guys. The mole guy sees this and goes, ah, and he takes off and he's digging under the ground, and all of a sudden Saitama's face appears right in front of him. He's like, found you. He just freaks out.
And he does the anime eyeball.
Yeah, I mean, it is just it will catch you off guard, and you're just like, I did not see that coming, and it really makes it fun to watch. I mean, like I say, the creativeness of the villains and the heroes, it's the same as My Hero Academia in that way. But yeah, Purple, you will absolutely love this. If you don't, let us know. Because I'm always interested in counter opinions, because not everybody's going to like the exact same things.
Makes the discussion more interesting.
Yep. So and I try not to recommend anything that I don't think you're going to like. I only recommend stuff that I've found to be enjoyable. In 2 weeks from now, we're going to be talking about SAO, Sword Art Online, which is this poster,
That one right
which
there.
was one of the animes that really
That was
pulled me into
I
anime.
think that was the first one I ever watched.
So,
And
I mean, I've watched
I think
loads since,
I
but
think we watched that together as our first one.
Yeah. I think so.
Something like that.
And it's just, it's another one that is absolutely fantastic. So if you guys want to go start watching that one, there's 3 seasons that are really easy to find right now of that one. And then there's also a movie that they did called Ordinal Scale. That's another great, it is really good. But you could go start watching those so you can talk about it with us in 2 weeks when we do when we do this again.
Then there's
Maybe
also
you
the
can wear
last
your
2
Saitama
seasons.
shirt
Yeah, and I'll
next
wear my
time.
Saitama shirt that I should have worn this week. But no, animes are so much fun. They just give you a very different view of entertainment. And that's what kind of drew me to them. I tell this story a lot, but that's what draws me to anime, is they tell a story in a very different way that is not normal, even for a normal subject. Like another one I want to do on here is Vampire Knight. It's an excellent anime, and it's about vampires, but it is done in a very different way. And it's like, wow, this makes you like, see, I'm a vampire absolute fanatic. Anything vampire, almost without fail, I like. So yeah, it makes it fun to be able to share this with other people. So is there anything else in the second season that you guys found, like, because I don't want to give away too many spoilers, and I think we kind of already have, but
Too
it's
late
hard
for
to
that.
it's hard to
Been
talk
terrible.
about
Sorry,
this
guys.
without
Too
spoiling
late.
some stuff. But trust me, when you see it, you'll be like, so much better than what they were able to describe it.
the
So
Monster Association.
Yeah.
They're the next big villain group.
is that the guy who comes in and kills all the villains in the here's spoilers in one of the episodes that I saw? There's a bad guy that comes in. They're trying to recruit villains to be heroes, because
Or
like
to work for the association.
yeah,
to work for
because
the
there's So
association.
many monster attacks
Yeah.
that they're like, we
Mhm.
need
They're-
help.
There's
Our heroes
normal
are
type
being overrun.
criminals
Yeah.
who they're trying to get them to be employed by them to help.
Yep. And like, it's because there was a prediction made by, what's her name? It's like Gypsy Lady, or like anyway, she's kind of a freaky looking gypsy character, but she
Gypsy,
gives this prophecy,
The Earth is in
or
trouble.
that the earth is in trouble. There will be a major thing happen, and the monster attacks are I gotta pull that up too. Sorry. I love when Adega makes comments. So now I know why the Blood Witch upset you close to Vampire Rockville. So yeah, and yeah, for those of you who don't know, go listen to the book Blood Witch on Adega's channel. So good. So good. The ending, I gave Adega crap over the ending because I'm like, you can't stop it like that. You can't do that. he thought that
Watch
was
me.
funny. But yeah, Adega's fantastic. Go. He's also doing just before my Sunday videos premiere, Adega does stuff on all right, so never mind.
But he does do really
It's
good.
off.
But yeah,
They called it's off.
his books are fantastic. His very creative, very very well done. It was. I got the chance to listen to it while I was on the truck, and I just like blew through it up until where he was at, and then listened to it as quickly as I could because it was so good. And that's what this is all about. That's what we're sharing, what we love with you, because it's important that we don't just crap on everything we hate. I mean, if you want to crap on something, we could talk about the DC fandom thing that happened yesterday.
We're gonna have a discussion
Yeah,
after this.
we may talk about that and do a separate video later. But yeah, I was excited about some of it, but the way they presented it was so bad. It was just like, oh, anyway.
Anyone want to fill me in on what's going on?
Oh, wait, no.
No.
We'll talk off air. No, so, but anyway, is there any? So we got a Monster Association in season 2 to kind
And
of counter.
They're like all the other villains that you kind of see.
See how excited they got.
throughout the first season. They kind of come and go in an episode.
Mhm.
This one, the entire series, like there's different monsters and stuff, but it's all this one association. So they're being built up as a more.
Yeah, so there's
big
not like
enemy.
a million different like
Oh.
monster groups. So it's just
They're all
these
just
guys.
one group
Makes
under
it more
one leader.
easy. Yeah. But
Okay.
Garo, he comes in and he's like he's a human who wants to be a monster. And honestly, you're like, oh, kill him, like beat him, and then you find out his backstory and you're like,
And then his past.
never
is like,
mind, you
I
can
get
leave
it.
him.
I get it.
You really do. You get it, and you're like, oh, well, you're a good villain. Good job. I'm proud of you.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
he's-
Purple, the DC event yesterday. That's the one I'm talking about. There was some of it I was super excited about, some of it, but yeah, no. And I only got to see about half of it, so I still need to go watch the rest to see what else happened. I only got to the Venus or Serena Williams Wonder Woman clothing line, and that's where I was just like, "Ugh." So
What's yours, Brie?
never mind.
Oh, facial expressions, like
The
the
facial
facial expressions, they just make me laugh so hard. I'm like,
Watching her
I-
watch the show is almost funnier than watching the show.
If you hear her laugh on the other side of the room, you just can't help but laugh.
Honestly, but then like if you can tell when she's all hyped up because she'll start jumping around. She's like everywhere, and you're like, okay, stop.
Calm
Yeah.
down, Filthy Bunny.
but just the funny part where he's like the alien guy is
In
like,
the first season, or
I think it's the first season
okay.
The one with
where
the
he's
one-
like
yeah.
powering up and he's just like,
Okay.
He's
like he's just
And there's these rats
Just
rats
that
bouncing
straight
off
face.
him as he powers up. And he's just like
So
just
Tom
the
was
white
just like,
deadpan face.
all right, anytime.
You
I'm
know,
ready for you.
something that I've noticed from the first season to the second season are his facial expression. Like you can still tell that it's like the oval eyes, or like you can tell that he's bored, but it gets better because like they outline the eyes more, and I don't know, they do it
I
differently.
really like how
and it's so
Saitama
funny.
can go from this like soft boiled egg to this.
Rounded in a second, and you're like,
He's
oh,
just
it's
like,
over.
What
It's
just
Yeah.
happened?
over.
What
It's
just happened?
going
Something
down.
really ticked him off.
When his
Or,
when
like, it's
this is
really-
defined.
yeah,
Yeah, he's like
You're
this
like, oh.
like barely designed
Yeah.
face, and then like you can see every line.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
It's
every-
Extreme detail to show
it's
you
just-
The very last
Ugh.
fight of the second season, like that is my favorite punch that he's done so far, because you're like, oh, okay, something's gonna happen, and then he like does it, and you're like, well, that just 0 to 100 real quick.
I don't remember that.
I'm like,
Oh,
oh, it's
So,
my
yeah,
It's
so-
been a
favorite.
while since I've seen it.
This is something to look forward to for you guys to I mean, because I still have to see the second season. I've seen, like I said, 3 episodes, and but yeah, see, I mentioned the DC thing. I knew that would almost immediately take over the chat because it's so yeah. No, like I said, there's things to look forward to, and then there's things that
Yeah.
you're just like, I don't want you in charge of anything. Please don't ever be involved in
Please
DC ever again. But yeah, it's just remember to promote what you love. And that's how we're gonna beat this. is by talking up the things that we love, getting more people into the stuff that came before than the garbage that they're making now. I mean, all you have to see, the past so far was better than right now, is go look at the variant cover that they did for Wonder Woman that's coming. I wish I had it pulled up here and I'd show you. Awful. It is awful. I mean, she has no chest. Her legs could look like torpedoes that could sink a battleship. I mean, just like, it is not Wonder Woman. That is not Wonder Woman. That is not Linda Carter. That is not Gal Gadot. It's an insult to anyone who's ever played Wonder Woman or whatever. And that's, so we've got to promote what we love instead of just riffing on the stuff we hate. I mean, we got to call out stuff we don't like, but that's why we're doing this, is to tell you, hey, if you're having a struggle with this element of entertainment, come over here. We'll show you something fantastic, because anime has not gone down that road yet. They're still doing some really funny stuff, some really cool, stuff. The stuff that DC and Marvel used to do, manga is still doing.
With people
Give
who
it a
actually
chance.
look like, people.
Yep. So with people that look like people, not cartoon characters in their own right, and the purple hair and yeah. Anyway, so
They actually look like fairly attractive. Unlike some of the other.
oh my gosh, when did becoming the ugliest human being on the planet make you the poster child? Nothing against if you're ugly. I mean, Steve
Nobody's
Buscemi
ugly.
Steve Buscemi isn't exactly the poster child for beautiful, but I mean, I love him in movies. So, but yeah. So next week, can't remember. I decided what I was going to talk about, and I can't. So I'll have to make that announcement for next week. But in 2 weeks, we are doing SAO. I haven't decided exactly what I want to do for my next Sunday stream. So just stay tuned, and I'll try and post it on Twitter, make an announcement. If you have any suggestions for something you would like to see us or me or us, the panel, talk about and stuff, just kind of depends on if they're interested in actually being a part. But that should tell you how good this is that they want to come in and
3
talk
of us
about
showed
it.
up.
So yeah. and the other one wanted to, but she just got home from a trip. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that this gives you something else to go do and look forward to. Like I said, homework assignment for next week, children, or for 2 weeks, is SAO, Sword Art Online. Go start watching it. I promise you will not be disappointed. Great story, very unique perspective on things, a lot of fun. And
Really creative.
yeah, really creative, and the humor is good in it. But it's more of a dramatic series, but it's still got good elements of humor and stuff in it.
If you like
So-
fighting with swords,
Yeah.
then there you go.
If you like medieval type fighting, yeah.
Yeah, but then, I mean, through the season, it changes. Each season is different than the next season with the same characters, but different scenarios, and that makes it really helps keep it interesting and keep it going. Fluffy Bunny, did you have any final comments that you'd like to talk about with One Punch Man?
No, not really.
Okay.
If you have
Gummy bears?
recommendations, then give it to us,
Yeah.
because I need a new movie to watch. Anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I got a
So-
list for you.
I was on
There's
a
some
live.
things you can watch.
I was on a live stream with Darth Haster. Where did you put that thing? So I have a folder over there. Me and Darth Haster and some other people were on a live stream, and they were just giving me like 500 different animes that I could. I mean, that whole thing is just like full of animes. I almost couldn't write them down fast enough because of
tried
how
reading
fast they
some
were
of
giving
those.
me. But yeah, so I mean, anime's great. It's got some really great. It's got some really adult stuff too. So watch where you go. But yeah,
Gate's a pretty good one.
the Gate. Okay, that's awesome recommendation. I will put that on my list. So thank you guys. Love you. Thanks for being here to support the channel. I really appreciate it. It makes this a lot of fun to do, and we will talk to you all next time.
Bye,
Bye now.
guys.
Yeah.
Bye.